You're wrong. I choose my own house. Hello all you internet people, welcome to our first video for the new year, 2022. My name is Chris, and I'm very excited to be here. So here on Potter Tongue, this episode we'll be talking about the Sorting Hat, and that's just a nice little toy. That's not the official sorting, so don't believe that I'm just choosing my house, because that's not how it works. But I'm going to give you a little fun facts about the Sorting Hat, just general information and how it works, because there's a lot of misconceptions out there, especially with die-hard fans. So, Sorting Hat used to be Godric Gryffindor's own hat, and we don't know how they sorted students into the 4 Hogwarts houses when the founders were currently teaching at the school, but they made the Sorting Hat for after they were gone, after they died, to keep the sorting tradition going. So that's why it's a magical object and not a character, because they physically made the magical object. And I'd say it has the easiest job in all of Hogwarts besides Peeves, because it just has to make one song every year, and it doesn't even have to be original. It just has to keep it ear open in Dumbledore's study, the headmaster's study, year-round, to pick up things and knowledge of what's going on in the wizarding world, to give advice for the song if it chooses to. But like I said, it doesn't even have to be an original song. The Sorting Hat obviously knows better than any student that it comes to that's worthy of being sorted in the first place, because it looks inside your mind. It has that capability. The founders gave it the power of legitimacy to look inside one's mind, and really that unbiased look is the reason why the Sorting Hat is never wrong, because we may think we know what house we belong to. Oh, I just know deep down I'm a Ravenclaw. There's just no doubt about it. I just know I am a Ravenclaw through and through. And then time comes, plop the Sorting Hat on your head, and then you're Gryffindor. Well, that's really that. You don't have a say after that. What you thought your house was and what your actual house is might be two different things. But like I said, Sorting Hat has the final say, knows what house you're supposed to be in, and is never wrong, because it has that unbiased look into your mind. Yes, it takes your thoughts and preferences into account, but ultimately it has that unbiased view on who you are as a person and where you would do well and where you belong. So yeah, I guess the obvious example I could bring up would be Harry, because he's the main character and we know the most about his sorting, I would say, because he really wanted Gryffindor. And just from hearing about it from Hermione on the train, oh, I really hope I'm in Gryffindor. Ravenclaw wouldn't be that bad, but Dumbledore himself was in Gryffindor. And then interacting Malfoy and just hearing about Slytherin and seeing that they looked like an unpleasant lot. Please, no Slytherin, no Slytherin, no Slytherin. Well, even though he had those feelings, the Sorting Hat could see everything inside of Harry, including that Slytherin part of him, which was the 7th piece of Voldemort's soul, the unintentional Horcrux. So, was Harry ultimately right in choosing, in wanting to be in Gryffindor? Sure, but that tainted part of him, that was Voldemort's, that also plays into account, and that's what the Sorting Hat saw in everything that he looked into Harry's mind, and that's why he came up with Slytherin. But the Sorting Hat does take your preference into account, but that does not always make it the deciding factor or always end up what you are sorted into. So that's don't know. I guess I'd say the Sorting Hat, along with Through the Trapdoor and Quidditch, are my three favorite chapters in the first book, hands down. But like I said, Godric Gryffindor used to wear the hat, used to be his, and I know it's slightly pictured with him in Chocolate Frog cards, but I think it'd be cool to actually see Godric Gryffindor wearing the Sorting Hat as a pointed wizard's hat, because we really only see McGonagall and hear about unnamed wizards throughout the wizarding world that Harry sees wear wizard's hat, besides Dumbledore, of course. He's the most famous. But I don't know, I think wizards should wear more hats, and they should bring that about more in the movies with the elaborate wardrobes that they bring along. But yeah, as far as the sorting while Godric Gryffindor was at Hogwarts, we don't know how it was done, because the Sorting Hat was only brought about for when they were no longer going to be there. So that's one thing to theorize about and come up with, is how the founders did the sorting before they left. And oh yeah, I can't do this video without mentioning that obviously for us who read and understand the books know that there's no such thing as a hybrid house. Doesn't exist, not a thing. It's really a one house per customer sort of thing with the Sorting Hat. One student, one house, that's it. You have one access. You have access to one of the 4 house common rooms, the one that you're sorted into, unless you want to break the rules and get in trouble, sneak into the other common rooms like Harry, Ron, and yeah, it's not like you could be, oh, I'm a Griffin Puff, I'm a Ravendor, I'm a Gryffindor. It's like, give me a break. That's so stupid. You don't even understand the basic workings and meanings of the Sorting Hat and what it means to go to Hogwarts. Like, that's all explained and learned about the first book. And yeah, that's not how it works in the Wizarding world. So you're deluding yourselves if you perpetuate or go along with the hybrid house, which is not a thing, doesn't exist for Harry Potter fans, not a thing. And yeah, every student is sorted in their own house, one house per person, like I said, no exceptions. So this brings us to, if Sorting Hat like that toy I was wearing isn't the official sorting quiz for Hogwarts houses, what is the legitimate sorting quiz that we could take? Well, it was on Pottermore.com, now known as WizardingWorld.com. You could still take it, log in, or sign up and take the quiz yourself. But that's really the only place where you can legitimately find out your sorting. Back when Pottermore came out, I knew a friend who was beta testing the original Pottermore site when it came out, and she told me about it. I was like, oh, that seems kind of weird. I don't know how I feel about that, switching it to online activities and just articles. I didn't really understand what it was fully about, but after a year of just being like pushing it over there, I'm not going to be a part of that. That's something extra. I don't want to associate with that. But I heard about that there was a sorting ceremony that was part of it. I was like, okay, now or never. I've always, it's sort of funny to say, but I always sort of rooted and was on Malfoy's side whenever he sort of picked a fight or made fun of Harry, Ron, or Hermione, or even Neville. Bad as that may seem, back then in 4th, 5th grade, I was sometimes a bully. That's true, but Malfoy was the one I actually related more to than Harry, as a matter of fact. So I think that had a lot to do with my draw towards Slytherin house. But even then, when I was dreading taking the sorting hat because I didn't know if I was going to get Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff, Gryffindor, or Slytherin, even though so many times I just reaffirmed myself and it just seemed undeniable that I belonged in Slytherin house. But whatever I got on that sorting quiz, answering truthfully to every question, I would accept the results. If sorting me in Gryffindor, all right, I'm a Gryffindor. And yeah, but thankfully I sorted in as Slytherin. My username on Pottermore was CharmShadow5099, and I was able to keep that when it switched over to the Wizarding World. You had the option to keep your account or get resorted, or obviously make a new account. But that is the only legitimate sorting because J.K. Rowling came up with it, the questions and the whole system behind it. So if you go to these other lesser light diluted accounts, not accounts, websites where, you know, some